So, this week's topic will cover how to be an ally. We will go over the concept of allyship, techniques to encourage an open and inclusive dialogue, the courage to speak up, and effective strategies for responding to resistance to inclusion. So, what does it really mean to be an ally? Well, the concept of allyship refers to the practice of individuals or groups with more privilege, power, or social status supporting and advocating for marginalized communities or individuals who experience discrimination or oppression. It requires recognizing the systemic and institutional biases that exist and working to actively create a more equitable and just society. Allyship involves listening to the experiences and perspectives of marginalized communities, taking responsibility for educating yourself and others about the issues of oppression, and using your privilege to amplify the voices of those who are traditionally marginalized. So, now let's go over some techniques to encourage an open and inclusive dialogue. These can be achieved through a couple of the tips that I have listed here. We'll start with active listening. So, we want to encourage employees to actively listen to one another by summarizing what each person has said and asking for clarification or additional information. Secondly, we want to encourage diverse perspectives. We want to ensure that all employees are given opportunities to share their perspectives and experiences, especially those who may not be traditionally heard. Next, we want to create a safe space. It's important to create a safe and welcoming environment where everyone feels comfortable and respected. This can be achieved by setting ground rules, encouraging active listening, and showing empathy towards different perspectives. Next, we want to use inclusive language. Use language that is inclusive, respectful, and acknowledges diversity. This includes avoiding stereotypes and assumptions, being mindful of pronouns, and using language that is culturally sensitive. Next, we want to encourage participation. Encourage everyone to participate in discussion, regardless of their background, experience, or position. This ensures that everyone's voice is heard and valued. Then we want to foster empathy. So we want to encourage empathy by encouraging everyone to put themselves in one another's shoes. This involves understanding and appreciating different perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds. Next, we want to encourage constructive criticism. And we do this by focusing on the idea and not the person. This helps to create a culture of open and honest feedback that can lead to positive change. And finally, we want to celebrate diversity. And we do this by highlighting the differences and encouraging everyone to share their unique perspective and experiences. This helps to create a more inclusive and accepting environment. So, by implementing these techniques, you can help create an environment that fosters open and inclusive dialogue. So, how exactly do you build the courage to speak up? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, developing the courage to speak up in support of diversity and inclusion can be challenging, but it is important to create a inclusive environment. So, let's go over some tips on how exactly to do that. First thing you want to do is educate yourself. Learn more about diversity and inclusion, the effects of discrimination, and the benefits of creating an inclusive environment. By understanding the importance, you may feel more inspired to speak up when you see something that goes against these values. Secondly, start small. Begin by speaking up when you feel comfortable. For instance, when someone uses an inappropriate term or makes a derogatory statement, calmly and respectfully point out that it is offensive and why. This will help you build up confidence in your ability to speak up. Thirdly, Find support. Surround yourself with people who share your values and support your stance on diversity and inclusion. They can help you feel more confident to speak up, knowing that you have support. Next, practice speaking up. You can practice speaking up by creating scenarios in your head where you may need to speak up in support of diversity and inclusion. This can help you prepare yourself to speak up when the situation arises. Next, use positive language. When speaking in public, try framing your message positively. Instead of pointing out what's wrong, suggest what's right or how you can work together to create an inclusive environment. And finally, accept feedback. Be open to receiving feedback, whether it's positive or negative, and use it to grow and improve. This will give you the courage to speak up and be a strong advocate for diversity and inclusion. So, finally, let's discuss some effective strategies for responding to resistance to inclusion. And I've listed some here, and we'll begin with understanding and addressing the root causes of resistance. So, it's important to understand the reasons behind the resistance to inclusion. Whether it's due to a lack of knowledge or misconceptions, addressing these root causes can help to reduce resistance. Number two, building relationships. So, building relationships with those who are resistant can help to create an environment of trust and open communication. This may involve actively listening, seeking feedback, and showing empathy. Number three, providing education and training. And that's why we're here. Providing education and training around diversity, equity, and inclusion can help to create understanding and reduce resistance. This can be done through workshops, seminars, or training sessions. Next, encouraging open dialogue. So, encouraging this type of dialogue can help to reduce resistance and build understanding. Providing opportunities for individuals to express their concerns and opinions can help to create a more inclusive environment. Number five, celebrating diversity. So, celebrating diversity and recognizing the unique talents and contributions of all individuals can help to foster a sense of belonging and reduce resistance. And then finally, leading by example. Leaders who model inclusive behaviors and values can help to create a culture of inclusion and reduce resistance. This may involve setting expectations and holding individuals accountable for their behaviors. By implementing these strategies, you can help to promote a culture of inclusion and reduce resistance.